What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, move on to treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Ooh, that's a look, hey? That sort of looks sick almost. This is why I don't wear dress clothes. The rest of the tone in my skin color. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Your Show. As far as we know, the only live show on YouTube from 4 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Margaret, don't do it. Okay, good girl. As well, the number one ranked podcast in the category of every now and then a guy wears a dress shirt and then looks sick while he does the show. It's a very rare category, but we're still proud to be number one. Hope you're having a great one. I'm going to be leaving about 20 minutes from now as I'm heading down to the Saskatoon Food Bank and Learning Center. Going to go say hi to Deb and Lori and all of our friends over there as we are emceeing the client reception in the big warehouse there. So always excited to say hello to all of our friends over at the Saskatoon Food Bank and Learning Center. So I'll be leaving about halfway through. Coach Mazer stepping up, the second ever sort of guest host. LB, we got him on the ones and twos here today. He did the original first ever guest hosting of this show, but that was for a full show. Mazer's only going to do a half show. So we will see how he does. He should be showing up here very soon. And then we got some pre-taped stuff for you to enjoy. And he's going to take us all the way home. And then from the food bank tonight, we're running over to the Fall Feast. Our friends at Elmwood doing all the fundraising tonight, trying to get those vehicles out and about for my Auntie Susie and all of her bros and sisses out there that love to go on excursions, get out of the lodge, get out of the manor, get out and do things. That's what the Fall Feast is all about. So tonight over at Prairieland Park, I'll be running over there right after we're done at the Food Bank and Learning Center. It's a great night to, feel good. Feel good by giving back. That's what we say all the time. Do good things, they'll start happening to you. Tonight is full of good things. So this is how you get your life, get back on track or better than ever, however it goes. It's always nice to do good things. And speaking of, we're not gonna quite check in yet. She's, hey, cool it. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what old Margaret's up to right now when she is not cleaning herself. It's the Maggie Cam. Look at her. And she's gonna have sneezies now because she was just cleaning away. See, look, I'm wearing socks today. March, what do you think of my socks? Like those? Yeah, it's a good girl. The Maggie Cam is for our fantastic friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Mike and Rochelle as well. Let's see if she knows his name. Maggie's boyfriend, Leroy. Yeah, okay. A little bit of a reaction anyway. Always there to make your day better. Dare I say the greatest day of your life. And after hours or weekends, Kirsten, Chris, and Shar are there to make your day the best day ever. They have an incredible staff, incredible stock. They have so many things for your pets, everything you need. And look at this. They gave us a reason to put Maggie on the camera, even more so than normal because she sometimes likes to jump on. She's really making eye contact today. This is good. Right before we went on the air, she was tossing her food dish around and playing and being all rambunctious, so I wasn't sure if she was going to settle down and hit her mark, but there she is, yet again, hitting her mark. Thanks to our buddies over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. As I look down at that, the banners going along the bottom, I saw one for the Bamford & Co. podcast, new episode up yesterday. A lot of fun with that one. Ryan and Greg come in and they do a bunch of cool stuff. Our buddy Clint was in. I love Clint so much. And it's one of the really fun things about having these other shows joining the network. They bring in guests and we get to meet people and get to say hi to people we haven't seen in a while. So that's a lot of fun. So be sure to check that out. New All Out of Angst podcast, supposed to be out today. I had a fight with my computer. Not a physical fight, but all the editing I was doing was sort of deleting itself, and I was slowly growing full of rage right before we were about to go on air here. And I said, no, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and let this stupid computer force me to rage my way into a night full of good. There it is right there, the Elmwood Fall Feast. So the AOA will be out tomorrow with the One Bad podcast, as Network Ryan has promised me he will hold my hand and guide me through the editing issues that I was having. Because, again, computers are the worst. Technology can frig right off. But that's just a little bit about me. So I mentioned earlier, CTV's Matt Young. Now, this dude, I love this guy. So he's the dude that comes in every Thursday. You know him from CTV. His Twitter account, Matt Young CTV, is so good. He's the guy that puts out the attendance numbers for different events, be it Rider games or Blades games or like NHL games, all that stuff. And he also has all of the news that you need when you're looking for news, which is very cool, local stuff. And he's got the Hilltop stuff covered, the Husky stuff covered. He's a Mr. Everything, but he's also a huge gamer. And we've sort of dedicated a little bit of time each Thursday to him and sort of his gaming hobby. As I started out with like coding stuff, and now we're into a little series where he's teaching us how to maintain our systems and our controllers, as in our Nintendos, our Super Nintendos, our Sega Genesises. Sega Genesi? Yeah, maybe. LB didn't like that one too much. All those old systems and all the games that go with them and all the controllers. So today we will be fixing up an old Sega Genesis, which I look very, very forward to as well. LB not just in the booth. There is a Rider game going on tomorrow night. I know this because he told me. And we also recorded it as they are taking on the Stamps at 7:30. The Riders looking to bounce back. They've only lost a couple in a row. And by a couple, I mean 7. 7 football games lost. That's almost 2 months, bro. Just say it. Oh, I hate when people say just saying. I take that back. Exactly 2 months since their last victory. No way. There's no way they can lose that one. You don't want to go 2 months in a day, right? That's just embarrassing. So he's got to stop by and get us all caught up with the Riders in the big game. Apparently, my main man, Roland Milligan, will not be playing, but it's for a good reason, so we can't be mad as he became a dad. So he's going to dad up, which is very cool. But we'll see how that all goes. I was going to go somewhere really good there. I had something really fun to say right before that, and I forgot it. But that's okay. As we continue waiting for Coach Mazer, I was hoping he was going to be here so we could bounce some stuff off of each other. I will say this, though. Oh, yeah, just saying. Oh, man. You want to know what really, really upsets me when I am online and reading comments, and you always get that snide, like smug guy that's like this. You'll have a nice tweet on there. Hey, say you said something like, hey, happy birthday to my buddy. Doesn't look a year over 29. Then you get that guy, his profile will be this like face, like just knows he's so much better than you and can't believe you're trying to take up the same space as him. Like, actually, he looks more like 32. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, I hate just saying. The worst. If you're a guy that uses the term just saying at the end of any statement you're trying to say, don't. It's so annoying, and it just makes you look so tiny and smug and above everyone else, and it's not a good look. So eliminate just saying from your vocabulary. And I think everyone would be a little bit better off. Vladimir Guerrero. You heard of Vladdy? You see this? You hear this? You hear about this guy? As we're just touching on some things while we wait for Coach Mazer to show up and take over the steering wheel. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., Canadian kid. May have heard of him, playing for the Toronto Blue Jays. They finished off a series with the Texas Rangers earlier this afternoon. I took a little pregame nap while watching. Vladdy socked 2 more dingers today. So he now sits with 30 home runs, 99 RBIs, and a .321 batting average. 3.21. That's good for second in the American League, by the way. Vladdy, for about the first 4 months of the year, did nothing. Everyone said he's useless, get rid of him, and then he got hot. I guess 2 months of the year. He got hot enough to get his butt to the All-Star game, and then he stayed hot since. And he's been one of the best players in baseball since that time. So, with that in mind, keep an eye on Vladdy Guerrero, who is about to go over 100 RBIs, which is a nice little benchmark for a lot of ball players. And dare I say, if he gets really, really hot and stays really, really hot, he could reach that 40 home run plateau, which would be quite nice for our main man, Vladimir Guerrero. Now, you want to talk about a team that lost way too much. Not the Riders, but the Blue Jays, too. They've been, it's an interesting little season for them, as it looks like they got something to build on. It's not a full-on tear-down rebuild after they traded a lot of their stars, which it sort of looked like it was going to be, but they've been pretty successful. A lot of young guys stepping up, which is very cool. So we love to see that if you're a Jays fan. And it might mean maybe next year won't be one of those classic rebuild seasons where you're just cheering for losses. No one likes to cheer for their team to lose, right? It sucks. But if you can get some sort of nice draft pick or some compensation or something for those trades, you're obviously going to sell out and sort of try to rebuild. I think what they're doing is just sitting right in the middle of a rebuild, which is very exciting. Another thing I saw, Saskatoon Blades. I believe the Blades season gets going right away, like tonight or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. But another season of Blades action. Remember when the Blades made that run, dude? Ooh. It feels like it was forever ago. But no, that was just last year. Blades, Moose Jaw Warriors. That's tonight, 7? Saturday, 7 p.m. Go Blades. Who they got? PA? Oh, going down to Swift Current. Going down to face the Broncos. Yeah, they're okay. So it's a home game against Swift Current. Thank you for that. I couldn't have screwed that up anymore. The point is, it feels like so long ago that we had what some are still calling the greatest hockey 7-game series in the history of the sport. Was it six games that went overtime, I believe? Dare I say, maybe 7. Who knows? It was like every time we tell the story, it's going to be 7 games now. But even overtime, like all the overtimes and all like the craziness that went on in that thing and going to 7 games, like it was just a wild series. And then that was sort of the end of the run and the end. Some people are saying it might not be as bad as they went for it, and they've sort of entered themselves into a bit of a rebuild. But everyone we talked to, including our main man, Clayton Croker, who you know from Creatorate, that's our dude, one of our Blades insiders, saying it's not going to be as bad as the last time the Blades sort of sold the farm. If you remember that one correctly, when they were hosting the Mem Cup. Did not go quite as good, but this one, it sounds like there's a solid foundation for the Blades to really, grow and build and become something that you can cheer for, right? Because you don't want to cheer for those draft picks unless it's a full-on rebuild. And you can't say that enough, because those are the worst. But it looks like the Blades might be doing pretty good. So they're getting going Saturday, hosting the Swift Current Broncos at the home of your Neon Flamingo, SaskTel Center. This might be the longest solo dance I've done since like the first couple months on those shows that we never watched because they were so bad. But I digress. As the countdown continues, I hear him. The man has arrived. He must have heard me tap dancing my way all around the building. Now I got a whisker. This side is making me look a little bit ridiculous. Not so much here or here or here. I was right about here. I got a little upset. Welcome to Looking Good Before You MC an Event. My name's Gary and my co-host has arrived. His name is Rai. Look at him go. We got to fire it up Maggie, so you got to be careful with her. Why are you stopping? Oh, he's going to go get his earpiece. God, he's so good. This makes me so happy when guys step up and say, I want to go for it. I really want to do this. Are you going to check the mail? Mail time! Here he goes. Wonder what's in there.
Looks like an Indiana Jones.
Ooh, that looks like a journal that might help you find the Holy Grail. I'm just saying, are you ready? Are you still dancing? Dude, you guys are a team. He can talk to you the whole time. He's been helping me this whole time, too.
Are you on live on
Yeah.
Twitter?
I've been doing this for 15 minutes now. It's been horrible.
Skating?
Oh, no, not skating, dancing. I guess ice dancing? Maybe ice dancing.
Why can't I?
Either way. You got it turned on. Come on up. Oh, sometimes his talk back doesn't go through. As we get Coach Mazer ready to take over the reins. He's going to drive this ship all the way home. We got pre-tapes for him to set up for you. He's got some sponsors he can hit. It's going to be a very good time. Well, no, but when you see like Pulse Power with Aiden, look at that. New shows every Monday. I just like to look down at the banner and give everyone some love.
How's it happen?
Fantastic. I'm very jealous that I'm not wearing one right now. This chair, though, is very low. You got to be careful. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of your show for this Thursday, it's Coach Mazer with a side swipe.
Howdy.
Yes. Are you excited to be in the big chair? Are you going to switch chairs once I leave here in 4 minutes?
No, I'm not going to switch chairs. You know what? So when I decided to help you out here, Gary, because I'm not the host.
Okay.
I'm a co-host.
Co-host.
Ed McMahon, was he a co-host?
Oh, yeah, for Johnny Carson.
I feel like I was that guy for you a little bit. Doesn't say a lot. And then there's the Wayne's World reference of Wayne and Garth. And I think originally I was going to be your with you as always, Garth.
Hey, stop eating the dirt. Sorry. Margaret's eating Jake the Snake's dirt. You that hungry? You're eating dirt? My goodness.
Anyway, I was going to be your
Yes.
Garth.
Garth.
And that didn't work out. But by the way, like you look dapper, but also I understand why you don't like talking about religion on the show, because you have a Halo app with Mark Wahlberg.
A Halo app?
Halo app, yeah, that's just a place where because you played Jesus in that show.
No.
That
No.
wasn't you.
No, I don't. No.
Act.
I'm not into blasphemy. It's not for me.
Oh.
I refuse. You should know that too.
Well,
You've got a religious background a little bit.
you look
Okay.
you look like you might
Dude,
be Jesus Christ.
Stop it, all right? Just chill. Anyways, are you excited to drive this ship? Do you know what is expected of you?
No idea. No, I don't know where to look.
Okay.
Camera 1.
Well, lucky for you,
Camera
LB,
2.
the only other guy to ever host
This
this
one?
show, is here.
This
So
one.
he can guide you. That's camera 2, that's camera 3, that's camera 1.
Camera 3.
Do your Wayne's World, camera 1, camera 2.
Yep.
Camera
Yeah,
2.
so
There it is. Ooh, look at that. Nice.
because I have a daytime job and I don't do this,
Yes.
and I haven't for many time
All
in my
true.
life ever, I was hoping that you would already be gone and that we'd be at a
what's that?
pre-tape.
Well, I can
with-
set up the first one right now if you want.
How many pre-tapes are there?
We got 2. We got LB talking riders.
Sweet. Oh, is that an early edition?
It's from earlier today, yeah.
Yeah, but when does it usually come on? Fridays or Thursdays?
It's usually the day before the game.
And when's the game? Tomorrow?
You betcha.
We haven't been living up to our plan of being full-on riders as much as I had hoped. Like LB has.
He's our
obviously.
guy. Of course. You know me.
The riders have been pretty disappointing.
They haven't won in 2 months to the day. Their
That's
last one
wild.
was
What did they win?
July-
4 in a row and then lose?
July 19th was their last one.
What are they? 5 and 6? 4 and 6.
5 and 7, 1. Nailed it.
A couple weeks slipped past by me here.
Interesting. Do you want?
Well, you can set it up.
Do you want to run it?
I'll run it. So we're going to let Gary head to 2 events tonight. He's going to first. Where are you headed?
The Saskatoon Food Bank and Learning Center. Got some pizza coming. Got a new pizza place in town. New York
exciting.
Pizza Den.
You're going to eat a lot of food. So you're having pizza and then you're having a
Then
feast.
I'm ripping over to Prairie Land for the Elmwood Fall Feast. Yeah.
What do they have in there? Roast beast?
Oh, they always have so much stuff. Probably.
Roast beast
I love roast beast.
and horseradish.
They always have real good. Oh,
The horseradish
really
sneaks up on you, though.
Man, that TCU place horseradish.
Yeah.
It's not a
It's
TCU.
so
it's
good.
at Prairie Land.
Oh, it's Prairie Land.
Yeah, the TCU stuff. I could use some actually to clean out my nasal passage right now.
Horseradish is so good for you.
Okay, I gotta leave. It
but
is
you go.
time.
Get
I'm out
there.
of here.
Don't be late.
You go
so
ahead.
enjoy
and,
yourself.
Have fun. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the coach. You guys are the best. Maggie, you stay.
So that's Gary. Gary's taken off. So he had to leave right on the button. He was supposed to set up the first pre-tape, but it's pretty easy for me to do. So we're going to run. We're going to run over. I've lost LB already. We're going to do the pre-tape with LB, and he's going to talk about some riders for us. So take it away, LB.
We got another Rider game. They're probably gonna lose. Rider Insider. You know him from the viewing room as well as the face that has built the place. His name is LB. They're gonna lose again. Right?
This just shows you how little you pay attention to the Riders.
Oh, what did they win
They're
again?
playing the Stamps.
Hey, remember when you told me that there's no way the Bombers would do anything this year, and they're such a garbage team, and it's so funny that we finally get to watch them fall?
Oh, they're gonna fall to the bottom.
Either way, the Riders looking to turn it around. How many? Has it been in a row?
7 games.
7 games.
Yeah, so hopefully we play Calgary twice. So and they're 5th in the West right now.
Okay.
So they're shit. But I'm not so sure about that anymore
Interesting.
because they tied Montreal.
Montreal's very good.
Montreal is first in the East, first in the CFL.
Best in
So
the
somehow
league.
the last place team in the West tied the first place team in the league.
And now they're going to play.
Now they're going to play the Riders.
So they're coming
So-
in hot.
I don't understand how that happened, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens against the Riders. Because the Calgary's defense kind of sucks, and our offense has been getting better since Trevor Harris is back. Theoretically, I mean he's been averaging over 300 yards. So you know,
Have you wanted more from him? Have you expected more since his comeback?
yeah.
Yeah. That's sort of the general vibe I'm getting
But
as well.
you know, and we have a new running back. We signed Raquel Armstead.
Here's one. Okay, let's get into this
From
for a second.
we signed Raquel Armstead, who was released from the Red Blacks a couple weeks ago.
The first
For
place team in the league.
disciplinary. No, Red Blacks are not.
Ottawa?
First. Yeah, Ottawa Red Blacks are
Oh,
not
Montreal.
first.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, well,
Ottawa's very good
difference.
too, though, right?
They're getting better. Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't start out great, but they are getting better.
Sounds like
But yeah, no,
Winnipeg.
for disciplinary issues, like he actually was ejected from a game because he had 2 objectionable conducts. And I think it's a terrible decision to bring a player that has had objectionable, like has had disciplinary issues and was released for in part disciplinary issues to a team that has had a history of having disciplinary issues. I mean, I don't see, and Corey Mace, you know, he was like talking about how, well, it's, you know, each player, you know, I'm going to decide on a case by case basis, and, you know, it's up to the people to decide for themselves. And I'm like, yeah, but, and I mean, I get that, you know, sometimes it just works, you know, you go to a different place, you know, just not jiving with the people, and sometimes you just got to move and things change. But in my opinion, it's too early for that. Like, we're still coming, you know, and we've had disciplinary issues. I mean, with Miles Brown, there that one hit, not the second one. That one wasn't an issue, but the first one, you know, where he got fined for it. We're already having or have had issues, and a team that historically has had issues, I think it's not wise.
Welcome to pro sports, eh? This is how it works.
And also,
you always
why-
have a spot if you got skill.
Why aren't they running Frankie Hickson? I don't understand why they refuse to start him, because like except for when Olette was injured.
Yeah.
Because when he does well, he really does.
Not only him, what about Mario Alford? How come he doesn't get any touches in the
I don't know.
non-special teams portion?
I
of
don't
the
really
games?
know.
Yeah,
But
I'm with you.
But no, I don't see why they don't just start Hickson. It could be like an American-Canadian thing. I don't know.
That's true.
There's a bunch of requirements for that, but I don't know.
It's been done so many times in all of pro sports. You have the guys who are locker room issues. You have the guys who can't stay out of trouble. It usually takes 4 to 5 different teams for that person before they get fully washed out and people realize. So it seems like this is sort of the first door. He might have a couple more chances. But what's his name? Armstead, Mikael Armstead?
Raquel.
Man.
Raquel Armstead. And
So
honestly,
close.
I hope it works. I
Yeah,
hope that he
clearly.
doesn't have any. But I just, that's not the decision I would make. But I'm not the
Now,
head coach, so.
does it make a difference to you that it's just on-field stuff, as in like locker room stuff, and not outside of the sport stuff?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have off-field issues, I don't think it's, you know, but to me, it's the on-field that matters.
Yeah.
You know, really. I mean, if you're, you know, a drug dealer or whatever, I don't think you should be, you know, but when it's on-field, I mean, that's what matters in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's where you get penalized is in the results.
Exactly.
If you're getting into, you know, you get ejected and whatnot, or you're getting a bunch of 15-yard penalties, or that
Just for being
hurts the team,
undisciplined,
right?
yeah.
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 So hopefully it works out, but
Okay, so the game is tomorrow.
Friday 7:30 in Calgary.
And where are the Riders at standings-wise? How are they looking?
We're 1 point ahead of the Elks right now, I believe. So we're in third place. So if we win, I believe we'll keep our third place, which means we keep our playoff spot right now. If we lose and the Elks lose, I think we still keep it. But if we lose and the Elks win, then we drop to fourth and they're up into third.
Now, is there a crossover into play for the first time in the Western Conference of the CFL?
I don't know.
Because you know how it's always been, is the team always from the West goes to the East and dominates over there. That people always say, oh, you're almost better to lose and get in through the East route because it's way easier. It sounds like this might be the first time in something like 13 years, something crazy, that a crossover will be coming to the West from the East, meaning that those two teams, yes, there's one extra team in the West because there's only 9 teams in the CFL. Those teams could both be out if the third place team in the East has a better record than the fourth place team in the West.
Right. Yeah.
So we could be looking at that.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know the standings well enough to, but
It's very, I'm a gimmicky guy. I love gimmicky stuff. But man, oh man, having a 9-team league and deciding to split them in half into to conferences still, or whatever you want to call it, the East and the West, like more than ever, I believe it should just be a 1 through 9 and just don't do it, because that's what you end up doing anyway. With the crossover, that's essentially what you're doing.
I don't know, but I like the storyline of East versus West. When you get the final, it's East versus West, which is, and it also gives a better shot to your teams in a way.
Yeah.
Because if you split the Riders, I mean, we only have to be third place out of 5 teams instead of maybe 5th place out of 9 teams.
I see what you're saying, and there is a lot of that tradition, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a very tradition heavy league, and I get that. You play that up a lot. How close are we to Grey Cup?
I don't know.
Is it like mid-November or something like that? Like
we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the postseason, but
so these games are starting to matter more and more, is what I'm getting at.
We're getting into it matters, because if we don't secure our playoff spot, then that's the 3rd or 4th year in a row we don't make the playoffs. And
now what would happen? Let's just do a sort of test run here. What happens if the Riders don't make the playoffs? Are you saying, hey, Corey Mace, get out of here?
No, keep him.
You love him still.
No,
after all of this.
I, as I've said before, growing pains. It's the first year. He's a first-time head coach. I mean, I was listening to Green Zone, and they were talking about
Love
this.
those guys so
and
much.
somebody brought up Mike O'Shea, and they were like, it took him 3 seasons before he made it to the playoffs. And now look they've been to the Grey Cup like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah, was he Toronto?
I don't remember where he came from. It's Winnipeg. I don't care.
Yeah,
but like that illustrates perfectly. Like it's not instantaneous.
Yeah.
I think you gotta, when you make big changes like that, you have to give it some time.
Okay, so now we sit here with a team that's grinding it out. What do you think is a bigger strength for the Riders? Because that defense was like the bell of the ball for a long time.
Speaking of defense,
Milligan,
Milligan
my dude.
not playing. He just had a kid.
Okay, that's okay.
So
Congratulations.
so
my man.
he just had a baby girl. So
that's a big loss.
it's a big loss, but I understand why. Your family. That's important. So that's totally. But it's still a big loss.
Absolutely.
So
do you think that would, like, just coming down the stretch here, is this offense going to rise up to that level that the defense set, or is it like there's got to be something?
I think the offense is going to be how we win this game. Okay. And we've been close. We've been really close the last few games. We've been scoring 30 points.
Yeah.
So I think we can do it, because the Stamps have been letting in, an average of 30 points. I think lately.
Jeez.
Like that's what their defense sucks.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we win this game, is with the offense.
Okay, that sounds good. Anything else we need to know for the big game tomorrow night? Rider Insider LB.
Not sure. Nothing I can think of.
Just remember to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Actually
and cheer
watch
for
it.
Sports.
Yeah.
These are good. So we try to do an outro now. Do you think it'll time out?
What do you mean?
Like, well, in reality, this is a previously recorded segment.
Yeah.
You were
Frankie's isn't in this.
We're gonna leave Frankie out.
We can't do Frankie right now. It's not loaded up.
With that in mind, we will continue to keep you fully informed with everything Riders, thanks to the co-host of the viewing room and the face that has built this very place. His name is LB. Thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate it. Go Riders.
Yeah, go Riders.
And we're back without Gary. So it's just me here. And that is very interesting. And I don't know if I have anything to add to what we just watched. It's fun getting LB, like a true fan of the Rider Nation, get his insight on some things that are going on, which I think matches a lot of people's feelings with the Riders right now. They suck. I was recently at a game. It was a blast. It was the Labor Day game. There's no excuses to not have fun, and it was a great atmosphere. but they just find ways to lose. I was at the game and there was a guy that was very jaded was beside my kid and myself, and my son's never been to a game, doesn't watch a lot of Rider games, but he's just taking it all in. And this jaded fan watches when there was that kickoff that our receiving team, the ball bounced, went over our receiver's head, but he touched it first, rolled into the end zone for a touchdown, and he's like, that's going to cost us the game. And he wasn't wrong. That's what did it. So the Riders stink, but I think there's hope for them yet. I think they can pull through. Not this year, but I think there's some optimism for next year. But LB's already canned this year like everybody else. Another thing we need to get to is how to help us out. So how to be a part of the team. So you want to come be a part, or you want some share some insight on things we should be doing, or you want to be a part of the Dufferin Avenue Media Network, you can go to DufferinAvenueMediaNetwork.com. Right. Gary does this. I like the sandwich approach. But when I look at the cameras, I'm doing nothing. Weird. So there it is. So somebody I look up to and admire greatly sent me a message the other day, and I didn't have him on my phone for some reason. It was my Uncle Brian. And he sent me a message and wanted to know how he can help out. And he figured we should have on the website a donate button. So that's something I'll have to talk to the crew about. We do have our Patreon, if you want to throw that up, LB. We don't have that, but you can tell me what it is, maybe. Search Dufferin Avenue Media Network on Patreon, and you can subscribe and follow along. And it's a subscription-based thing. I don't know a lot about it, but I've heard that that's another fancy way to support us. But back to what my uncle said. He was wondering how he could donate, because there's websites out there that allow for public funding and public support and stuff like that. So we'll have to do that. My uncle is a great man, and when he messaged this to me, it hit me pretty hard. I'd say it made me feel some emotions or whatever, and I appreciate that he was watching and appreciating what we're trying to do here, and all of Gary's work and LB's work and all the guys at the network here and how much work they put in. Particularly that spawned that was our little read of Field of Dreams, and he's like, I like what you guys are doing, how can I help? So I think we need to figure out a way to do that. So Uncle Brian, if you're watching, I will shoot you a message, and I'll find a way that you can help in a simple way. Speaking of my Uncle Brian, camping season just rolled past us here a little bit, and he used to read BabbleBox stories. Not read, he would just freestyle BabbleBox stories. So a BabbleBox story is something that would just be off the cuff. So all of us kids that would go camping on my mother's side of the family, we'd go camping at Cypress Hills or Pike Lake or there's Candle Lake, maybe. Bright Sand. There'd be a few places we go. Cypress Hills was a popular one. Anyway, he would get together, and we'd gather around by the fire, and he'd tell these BabbleBox stories, and it would just be anything that would come to his mind, and it'd just be a run-on story, and he'd maybe incorporate the kids. And it's something that I thought, I'm like, man, I need to start bringing that to my life a little bit. I need to invest those moments for my kids and my nephews and stuff like that, because it was just, I remember being a 5-year-old kid, and he would just go on with these stories, and I'd just be like, what story is that? Or I want to get the book, and it would just be off the cuff. So anyway, Uncle Brian, thanks for the text message the other day. I really appreciate it. I wanted to go to a Maggie cam shot here, but Maggie just took off. Do you know where Maggie is? You got her? Okay, never mind. We're good. I'm doing my best to skate here, I think Gary calls it. Yeah, let's do one more mega cam. Come here. And then face the other way, though. Come this way. So we're going to just for fun.
What time is it?
Oh,
Your show.
we're going to restart the whole show. Twilight Zone moment right there. Can you cut? There we go. There's a mega cam for you. Brought to you by Pet Planet on 8th, Gary's favorite spot. I don't remember the little dog's name because it's not one of my fortes to remember things. What's that? Leroy, Maggie's little boyfriend that she goes and gives little dog kisses to, I think, from time to time. And they chase around and play and they're best friends. So Maggie is doing very wonderfully right now because Gary left. And Maggie gets severe anxiety when her owner, her master Gary, master of her universe, leaves. And there was some whining that went on, and LB and I were able to calm Maggie down pretty quickly, and she seems, as Gary would say, majestic right now. Look at how beautiful she is. Very nice. And that's that. So we can cut away. We also have another pre-tape that we're going to run to. I think I skated as much as I could possibly do, and I don't know what I'm going to have to say when we come back from it, but we got Matt Young doing a little Sega Genesis, I believe. Are we taking apart another controller? Oh, you're in for a treat. Kids, if you want to fix your things, right now Gary has me binging. I don't play video games anymore. My kids do. And right now in my son's room, because this summer he decided to move downstairs and be in the same room with his older brother Jacoby. So Louis did that. So I'm hanging out in Louis' room often playing Baseball Stars on the Nintendo I set up on a TV that he has in his room. And one of the controllers is jammed. And I was like, well, I just learned how to take it apart and fix it on this show. So now we're going to figure out how to take apart an entire console, Sega Genesis, which we also have and probably need to clean out. So let's go see how to do it.
Thursdays just aren't Thursdays, man.
That's
Unless
right.
we got Matt Young from CTV
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah, good to be
Welcome
here.
back, buddy.
Yeah.
As we
Yeah, yeah,
continue
yeah.
our how to maintain your older systems and controllers and games.
That's right.
Series that you
That's
have
right. That's
started
right.
here, which is very
That's
exciting.
right. Yeah, exactly. And this is great. Good to be here again, by the way.
Thank you for coming back.
And you know what? It's fantastic to show people how they can preserve their old video game systems because, as you know, I mean, you start looking at Sega Genesis and Super. You're up to 30 years now for some of these systems that
We
have been
don't
out
like to
there.
talk about it.
No,
but yeah.
well, yeah, we're dating ourselves, everybody. But
Yeah, they are definitely
so,
old.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But we want to maintain them. By the way, I working for CTV News now, I have to say this. This is just an interesting thing. This has nothing to do with video games, but I just had to bring this up.
Get it off your chest.
I'm going to get off my chest. The company Harlan and Wolff. You've probably never heard of them.
No, I
Wait,
have
no,
not.
you haven't. Well, they're the company that built the Titanic,
Uh-oh.
and they declared bankruptcy.
Like just
Okay,
today?
just like this week. Apparently, they're in bankruptcy.
It seems a little...
I mean, I don't know, 100, but they went 112 years after the Titanic, and they were going. So
How did they survive that long with
I don't
declaring
know.
bankruptcy?
Exactly. You would think that a ship that sinks and splits in half would have been enough. I guess
And that was news today.
that was news this week. It was in
at that.
anyways,
News
it was
this
in
week.
it was in the New York Times. I saw it there. So I know, funny headlines. You don't expect that. I thought is there a tech company that didn't do well or something? But no.
Every time you show up here, there's always something new to learn. So
That
thank
there
you for
always is. I'm glad.
That's
Well, we
great.
all learned that. Okay. Well, today we're going to learn how to take care of your
Here we go. Look
Sega
at that
Genesis.
bad boy.
Okay, we got a Sega Genesis here.
All right.
Do you got any cool Sega games that you like? Did you play a lot of Sega Genesis?
Altered Beast? I didn't play a lot, but I
Oh,
love
no?
Altered
Okay,
Beast.
Altered Beast.
Rise from your grave. That was
Oh,
a really
yeah,
good game.
yeah.
What else? Sonic was always fun.
Sonic was always good. Vector Man.
Yes, Joe Montana Football.
Joe Montana Football.
Those are sort of those are sort of like the biggest
Yeah,
ones. And
yeah.
Streets of Rage were always fun.
Streets
like
of
those beat 'em
Rage,
ups.
yep. No, those are great games. Well, I mean, Sega Genesis. So we've talked about Nintendo controllers, Super Nintendo controllers, N64 controllers. This week we're going to talk about Sega Genesis. We're going to start moving into systems now. now. So
I
last week
love
we
it.
showed you the Nintendo Entertainment System. This week we're going to show you what's inside a Sega Genesis if you were to actually take it apart. Now my system's it's a little bit dusty here, so I'm actually going to take it and clean it off. And what we're going to do is, so we have it right here, okay, and I just have a toothbrush here, boom, 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 isopropyl, and a couple of screwdrivers. This is the Phillips one.
Nailed it. You betcha.
Phillips. I remembered
We're
from
doing the
last time
Phillips,
the
baby.
plus sign, okay?
Yes.
And Sega Genesis really isn't too hard to take apart. You know, you got a couple of screws, and they're just these ones right here. There's 4 of them, and I'm just gonna make sure that I get them all down there. And
So the old Nintendo had 6, hey? Like the
the old
8-bit
Nintendo had
6
had
screws.
6
and
screws.
the Sega has 4.
Sega has 4.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm just gonna take this, and they're coming out there.
Whoa,
there we
there
go.
it is.
And boom. Sega Genesis. That's what you have inside there. Okay. Now I'm just gonna take these screws out of the way.
You bet.
Okay. Now, as you can see here, most systems will have this plastic little cover on here. Okay, or plastic, sort of steel little cover on here, and it covers up the printed circuit board. So we got to take that off next. We're going to take that off. And again, these just use a Phillips screwdriver, so it's not too terribly difficult. Whoop, I lost a screw there, but I'll get that one later.
That's exactly how I would go if I was doing it, by the way. It'd
Yeah,
all
I
be in
know.
there.
Well, you know what? You need the magnetic screwdrivers. I wish I
Yeah.
had one of those.
Screw control's hard.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But the nice thing is you're not dealing with like those security screws or those complex screws. You know what I'm talking about? The ones with the So
Make it impossible.
There. And once again, folks, we want you to be safe. I mean, if you're not comfortable around electronics, you know, it's going to be pretty hard for you to hurt yourself on this thing. I mean, we don't have any power hooked up or anything like that.
Some
but-
sharp edges might cut
Yeah.
yourself.
You got
I've done
to.
that.
You do want to be careful about any potential sharp edges, and things like that. Now, whoops, I got one more screw here, and
There it
but
is.
once you know, I think you'll find that for most people, this stuff is it's fairly simple.
I
okay?
always leave these chats that we have thinking I can do just what you showed us how to do.
Well, that's why you have the video, so you can go back
right.
to the video and have a look at it, right? Of
course.
So we're going to take this off here, and now this should... Am I missing one more? No, I think I... Oh, no, I got one more
that
right here.
guy.
There's always one more screw.
They go a lot more screw heavy on the inside.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
They do. That's absolutely true. Okay.
she
So we're going to take this off, and we're going to put this up here. And so that's what's inside your Sega Genesis. So when you have a Sega game... and I probably should have brought a cartridge, okay? Here's where your Sega game is going to go. It's going to go right in here,
Yeah.
okay? Well, what we want to do is really, you want to just try and clean that off, okay? So, and it isn't too hard. And you also want to kind of have a look at your circuit board here. And again, just make sure that you don't have anything that's, you know, again, any grease or dirt or anything like that, right? That can interfere with your gameplay or interfere with the electronics or anything like that, right? So, so this is pretty simple. And Sega, that's the nice thing about the Sega Genesis is actually, I think they did a pretty good job at making their systems easy to repair. It's
to
not
maintain and all
not
that,
quite
yeah.
if I want to say parts intensive as a regular Nintendo.
It still looks pretty intimidating, though, when you look at that board.
Oh
right?
yeah, there's lots of stuff on there. And again, there's capacitors and you want to be careful about that. And some people can get really some people will actually get into like resoldering parts and things like
Yeah,
that.
getting real
I don't
serious.
necessarily get into that unless you really, really have to. I mean, that'll be a Game Gear episode when
Here
we
we
talk about
go.
the Sega
Love
Game
Game
Gear.
Gear. Yes.
So, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our bottle of isopropyl here. I think we're still on the top-down shot, yep. And I'm going to take it and just, again, I'm going to put a little bit, and I just put a little bit on this toothbrush, right? So, you know, I'm just going to spritz it on there, right? Okay. And then I'm just going to take it, I'm just going to clean off these contacts here. And you'd be surprised like something like little like that can do, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because those are the contacts that the game goes in. We talked about having to blow on games, right? When you're blowing on games, it's because your contacts are dirty,
Yeah,
right?
you're trying to
So you
blow that
wanna-
dust or hair off or
Exactly,
whatever.
exactly. So you want to take that and you want to clean that off, okay? And then what I kind of like to do is I look for any areas that might have a little dirt on them. So like right in here, and you want to be careful. This is a printed circuit board, so you don't want to be rough with it, but you want to just lightly, just move away any dirt that might be around in there that could cause a problem. And sometimes a good thing to do, I didn't bring any with me, is if you can get a can of compressed air.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Compressed
Just
air, and you can
shoot it out.
buy that at computer stores, right? Yeah, and it will blow all the dust out of there, right? That's what you want to do. And sometimes I will even, I'll take a paper towel and get some of the dust off the computer chips and that sort of thing. Okay. You also have your controller ports. They're right.
Yeah, right
I'll
there.
show them. They're right here. Okay. And it isn't a bad idea to even try and clean those off a little bit. So your controllers, they contact a bit better, and then you won't have like buttons sticking or anything like that,
and
right?
It's you're always plugging in and out of there, so there's lots of opportunity for dirt to get in.
Exactly. Okay. So, and then at the back here, you have where it connects to your TV, right? And so what you want to do right here, there you go. A little bit better in the light. You could see it right here. So that, and I just kind of like to clean that just a little bit, right? And again, all you're doing, it's just a little isopropyl and it'll clean that off. Now, I mean, obviously you want to be careful. I'm not suggesting if you're uncomfortable, don't, but it's pretty simple process. Now, all I do is, and normally I would take a can of compressed air, I'd blow this all off, and now your system is kind of just a little bit cleaner again. And you can see actually on the toothbrush, I could probably hold it up a little higher here. There is a little bit of dirt on there.
Oh yeah, you got something
that we managed to get off of there, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit dirty,
there
right?
You go.
So that kind of dirt that will, once you remove that, it'll help your game start a little bit better in your system. So now that we've done that, it's basically a pretty simple process just to kind of put it all back together. So we take now, and people say, well, how do you put it back together? Most of the time, it goes back. There's kind of only one way to do it.
One spot, yeah.
There's kind of only one spot to do it, and you want to make sure it's just a matter of making sure that your screw holes line up, and that you're not over top of anything that you shouldn't be. I'm just gonna. There we go. So the screw kind of just fits in there like that. And once you get a few of those screws in there, it all just kind of sinks in there, right? So you get that in there, and then you're good to go. So that's pretty much mostly what you want to do on a Sega Genesis. Now, one thing you'll notice, if you have a problem, you're going to want to check. Remember how I said there were solder joints, right? Usually when you have a problem with a video game system, not usually, but a number of times I've run into it, it's because your solder joints have cracked. That's when you have to look at if you want to actually solder your capacitors back on, or if you want to just get a new system. I'm not very good at soldering, so I don't usually do that, but I know some people who do.
You got a guy.
I got a guy.
Soldering.
Well, there's a few guys.
Perfect.
So anyways, I put these back in there, and then and there's a couple of more screws. I'm going to just quickly do them here. And then you'll find that your Sega Genesis, you'll be playing Sonic all night long and missing work, which is not, just don't tell your boss why you. Just don't tell him it was because of Sega. Tell him you missed your alarm or something.
Oh, I was up. Could not be Dr. Robotnik,
It's the worst.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Kept me up all night.
I know.
Now I can't make it.
Now I can't make. So I'm gonna put this last screw in here, and then we'll be pretty much good. And then the top just goes on kind of. Oh, there's one more screw hole. The top just goes on kind of like it did before, right?
Yeah.
And then you put it all together. Now, what I would say is you probably only need to do this every couple of years. I guess it depends on how often you play your system.
Yeah, and
but
if it starts going glitchy or whatever, you notice some stuff, then it's
That's
probably
right.
time to get in there. And
That's
fix it
right.
up.
That's right. So you shouldn't have to do it too often. I wouldn't say much more than every 2 or 3 years. But it's just something good to do, because then, again, you're spending less time blowing off your games and things like that.
Yep.
And even on this, like you'll notice there's a little dirt in here. I'm just going to take that and try and wipe some of that off, right? Because like dust is always the problem that gets in these things, right? So clean some of that off, and then you put your whoops, got to make sure I have this right.
The roof on.
And it just fits right on like a
Look at
glove,
that.
right? Like there's no, real special trick to it or anything like that. And then it's just a matter of putting the 4 screws in, and Bob's your uncle, you're kind of ready to go. So I'll put the first one in there, and then we'll do the second and third and fourth one. And so now you'll have a Sega Genesis that should be able to run, a little bit better than before. You shouldn't have to blow on it, and that sort of thing. So there you go. There you have it. And that's keeping your old video game systems, in shape and ready to go. And you'll be playing Streets of Rage till the cows come home.
I just remembered probably my favorite Genesis game ever, Toe Jam and Earl.
Toe Jam and Earl was
Jam and
awesome.
Earl.
Toe Jam and Earl
That's
was
the
awesome.
one.
I love that
That's
game.
my go-to.
So there you go. You got it right here. You're good. You're good to go. And yeah. So again, some simple things that you can do. And but again, I always say, unplug it. Make sure that you don't have any power hooked up to it. And then now when you plug it in, you should be good to go. And there you have it. So a Sega Genesis, a little easier than the regular Nintendo. But some simple tools, and you can just do a little sort of primitive maintenance, and it makes your video game system last a lot longer.
This has got me thinking as well about getting to see the insides of these systems. I'm excited to see the Super Nintendo now. Whenever we get
Super
to that
Nintendo,
one,
we're
going to
get to that
be
one.
A really complicated one.
We're gonna get to the Super Nintendo, and we're gonna show you that. And that one is a little bit different, and how the reset button and everything is there.
All that stuff.
And that one does use a special kind of screwdriver
There
that
we
you
go.
actually have to get, and we'll show you how to get that. So and we are gonna do Super Nintendo and
Love
Nintendo
it.
64 coming up on one of these days too. So there you have it. So that's Sega Genesis. And I would say this to anybody, if you come across a good system, take care of it, right?
Yes.
Don't let it sit on the garage in the wintertime or anything like
Maintenance
that.
is important.
That's right, because
Yes.
you want to be gaming for a long time. So Sega Genesis, and maybe I should bring. I wonder. I could guess. You remember the Dreamcast?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever have? Did you have a Dreamcast?
I didn't, but I had a buddy who did, and we love the Dreamcast around here. Our buddy from the Commander Cookout podcast, Uncle Brando, actually just bought a Dreamcast like a month and a half ago.
There's a couple of Dreamcasts in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
I had one in a box. I ended
Don't
up.
tell me you lost.
I know. Well, I ended up.
Sold it?
I sold it. I
Okay.
sold it because I was moving, and I had. Could you have too many game systems? I kind of did.
Yeah.
So
You did.
I sold one of them. It was the
Nothing wrong with that.
Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wishing I didn't now, because the value of it's like tripled since I sold it.
Yeah, but hey, we don't dwell in the past.
That's right. We look forward to the future.
There
and
it is.
The future is Dreamcast. Well, maybe. But there are a couple of Dreamcasts in Saskatoon, so I'll maybe see if I can get some of those. And it'd be nice to get some of the ones you don't see too often, like Neo Geo and Panasonic 3DO.
Now
I
we're
had
going.
one. There's a guy in Saskatoon who has one, or who had one a couple of years ago, and it was in a box.
Jeez.
So it's like, how do you find that? So
I missed
there's
3DO.
there's some huge retro collectors in town. Saskatoon is a good gaming scene.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And there's actually a video game jam that's going to be coming up. And maybe I can talk a little bit more about it next week. But where it's like you try your best to make a video game in I think 48 hours.
That's
it's
so
called
cool.
Saskatoon
I love
Video
that
Game
stuff,
Jam.
man.
Look it up. It's going to be great. And it's just great for the gaming community to come together. So
much fun.
But Sega Genesis, yeah, buddy.
We did it.
I think that's good. I think that's another one, and I'm enjoying this series. I'm loving
so
this.
fun.
Thanks for doing it. I
Hey,
mean, this is great.
Thank you for coming in and doing it. I don't do anything. I just sit here and watch, and it's so entertaining to me because I'm such a nerd with this stuff.
we learn, and by the way, I mean, we got the Huskies are going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be calling some Huskies games coming up here up in the booth, and then the Blades are going. So we're gonna back doing some more video game modding again with some of our local sports teams who deserve to be shown in that kind of light, because I think that's really fun.
I've said it from the start. If you're a pro sports team in this city, find this guy and get him to do a bunch of promo stuff for you. It's so cool.
It's a cool promotional tool. And
cool.
by the way, we haven't forgotten, because we have to get the Gary Nichols show in Mega Man. Remember?
We have
Mega?
talked
I have
about
not
this. We
forgotten
have had
about
all
that.
those things.
So we're gonna get the
Absolutely.
Gary Nichols show in Mega Man too. So that's coming up as well, man.
Thank you so much. CTV's Matt Young. Every Thursday, he joins us with all of this cool, awesome stuff, and we look forward again to next Thursday. Until then, brother, take care. We love you, and thank you for all that you do.
See you in a week.
Man, I love that Matt Young. I wish I had someone to bounce stuff off of, not just a producer in a booth, and we just had conversations going, and it was so easy. And then you're up here by yourself, and I'm just talking into a camera. So I understand how difficult it is, and why Gary loves to have a friend up here with him. But that Matt Young is like a series within a show. So it's like we have all these great podcasts that have come out, and we've been promoting them well. I've just been binging on One Bad Pod, and it's absolutely amazing. I Yeah, I love how they do little 15-minute bursts, 16-minute bursts. They cover a lot of ground in that small time, and they talk about the concept of creating an album or releasing new singles or just living together and growing as a band and growing old and all that stuff. And I've really enjoyed that. Then you got the Bamford podcast, Bamford and Co. I need to get a little bit more into that. I've watched a few of the episodes. I haven't binged right through it, but that time's coming. But that's something you should do. And then even more importantly, as you see down on the screen, not more importantly, sorry, Bamford bros, tons of good feedback, but also important. No, I take that back. More importantly than your home is your health. Pulse Power. Watch Aiden's videos. Do some of the stuff that she's doing. Limber up. Stretch. I think everybody at this network, no offense to everybody at this network, but I think we could all stand to take care of ourselves a little bit better and do some of those poses and those stretches and those workouts that Aiden's pumping out, because it's really, it's impressive. I'm not going to talk about her age or anything, but I was friends growing up. I was growing up with her brother playing baseball, and I know how old I am. And she was around back then as well. So it's very impressive to see what she can do and the shape that she's in. So watch Pulse Power and get in better shape. What else do we got? There's a producer that's got a show as well. One of the best promos I think we've done is something that LB put together on the Spotify, on the Spotify's, as Gary would call it. And it's the promo for the viewing room. And it has that little Western theme. And I absolutely love it. It reminds me of a lot of different things that are out there, but it's his own unique spin, and it makes me want to listen to it and watch their show. So I think the viewing room, the latest one was what was it? What was it? Mystery Men? What was the one before that? I'm behind on that too, so I'm still on Despicable Me. But Mystery Men, I don't even know what that movie is. So I love it. They're going all over the map with the shows that they're watching, which is at the. Oh, you go to both. So go to ColiseumEvents.ca. You can go to the. Huh? That's what I said. No, it's not. ColiseumPresents.ca, and you can see the movies that they're watching and they're doing their reviews on. And I think it's hilarious. It's probably, I'm not going to shout out and downplay other movie reviewing shows, but this one's better than all of them. So watch it, laugh, enjoy it, and then go see movies and enjoy yourself and enjoy life. So I'm trying to skate as much as possible. How am I doing? 3 till 5. And I don't want to upset Gary Sr. because Gary Sr. Has one of the most beautiful laughs I've ever seen, but he's also a very large man. And when I first saw Gary Sr., I was very intimidated. Equally intimidated by one of his sons named Derek as well in the hockey dressing room. He was always a year older than me, and when I'd go through tryouts, he'd be the senior class kind of thing, and he would be very comfortable in the dressing room, and just a big beast, him and Soupy Campbell on the points, playing defense, and having to try and get around those two dudes was one of the most scariest things in my life, especially when body contact started. It was very frightening. But I also know that Gary Sr. loves going right till 5, so I'm going to do my best for Gary Sr. in doing that. I think the play it out music is what, 2 minutes long? 2.5. So we could start them. And here they come. So that was for you, Gary Sr. I don't find you scary anymore. But you have a beautiful family. You've raised a beautiful kid, by the way, because he is at 2 functions in one night, and it's you can attribute that to parenting. So if your parents are involved in things, there's a very good chance your kids are going to get involved in things as well. So get involved, be involved, support local charities, support local sports, support guys that sing, right? Like our producer that has a great voice. And what is it called again? Fireside Singers. I'm so brutal with names. It's very embarrassing. But the Fireside Singers, they go out and support this local talent and do things like that, and you'll feel better about yourself, and you'll feel very good at the end of the day that you're supporting people that are putting in hard work and trying to make a difference. So that's all I got. So I'm just going to keep. Hopefully Maggie's happy. Maggie's happy, LB. We did real good. Good luck leaving with that. All right. Bye-bye.